Okay, and how's everybody doing today? I sure hope that the song started on time. Maybe I'm just hoping that my headphones were messed up. Technology always stabs me in the foot. Anyway, yes, that was the new Who song, Bii Biyelgee. It's, what does it have to do with Christmas? Absolutely nothing, but it was a happy and upbeat song, and they're, gadding about and dancing about in the video, so it seemed appropriate. It's happy times for the time being. Yeah, so let's see what's in the news. Okay, for those of you who care about the sports ball, I mean, I know Americans usually stop caring about soccer as soon as the World Cup's over, but yes, the Argies win. Does this mean that Argentina has finally achieved its dream of being a European country? I don't know. Well, good for them, I suppose. I'm going to pause for just a second there. I'm going to drink some coffee because I have no groceries in my refrigerator, so I had to go out and get breakfast. Much like anybody from the Northeast United States, I ran to a deli and crammed a bunch of bacon, egg, and cheeses into my mouth. And also black coffee because that's how I drink my coffee. Yes, I like my coffee the way I like my women, strong and fierce. And also black. Kidding. So yeah, there's some wacky, or should I say whack ass nonsense in the news going on. Okay, so in the big news, the shitstorm in the Ukraine is still shitstorming away. Vladimir Zelensky comes to the Senate. He gets a standing ovation. They put up a Ukrainian flag in the Congress, which seems mildly odd. I mean, I should point out that they tried to do that shit in Serbia, putting up a Ukrainian flag in the Serbian parliament, and people like tore it down and put up again the Serbian flag. Of course, in America, we're not allowed to do that because don't you know? America's not a country at all. It's just a credit card everybody can exploit. But of course, in the moral sense, I do support the people of Ukraine's struggle against Russian, influence, shall we say, Russian invasion. But I can't help but suspect that sooner or later people are going to be demanding we put boots on the ground there. And I can't say I particularly approve of that. You know, do I support funding and arming Ukraine? I mean, yes, I do. But I can't say I support actually sending troops there. And this actually ties into the ongoing crisis in America about them, about the military, I should say, not having enough recruitment. The way I see it, I mean, this is really a problem because the big defense contractors, defense, might lose out on their profits if they don't have enough, downtrodden peasantry filling the ranks of the military. Well, to that I say, can't just sell your crap to other countries. Sell it to Ukraine, sell it to Western Europe, sell it to a lot of places. That way you can still make good profits, perhaps not quite as much as you would if America was going to war, but you still make a profit. And personally, I don't see what the problem is. And everyone's still perplexed at this. Like, oh, it's a conundrum. Like, why does why do the American people not want to join the military? I don't know, maybe because America hasn't fought a legitimate conflict in 70 years and we've been at perpetual war since 2001, and I think people are just tired of it. And of course, we've all seen those pictures of the new recruits in the military, and they're all just these lumpy little short troglodytes. I mean, Forrest Gump looks like a goddamn Adonis in comparison. Hey, Seapunk Messiah asks, how's the weather on your end? Very cold. It is a balmy 9 degrees Fahrenheit here in New Jersey. It's pretty dry. There's no snow, but yeah, it's extremely cold. Both of my piano students that I would be teaching today are on vacation, so I have absolutely dick to be doing. I mean, after this stream is over, I am going to go get groceries since I have approximately nothing in my fridge. Well, that's not entirely true. I have one bit of I have a package of cold cuts, ham, I believe. I have a pound of hamburger meat. I have some potatoes, and that's about it. So yeah, I need to get actual groceries. And yeah, there's two people watching right now. I don't expect there to be a particularly large amount of people today because it is, of course, uh, Christmas Eve. Well, it will be tonight. So people are going out and about with their families, with their friends, and I should be doing that. I'm actually going to be going to visit my folks tomorrow. But for today, I don't have much of anything to do. I was supposed to go do some, cruising yesterday, but that was unfortunately canceled due to the very high winds that were going on in Manhattan yesterday. Yeah, so so my opinion on Ukraine hasn't changed that much. I'm not exactly going to lionize Mr. Zelensky. I mean, before the Russian invasion, wasn't particularly popular in the international community. But either way, I do support a sovereign nation fighting against invasion. So, arm them, yes, but get involved, no. So, what else is going on in the world today? Got some more international news. Quite a lot of international news, actually. Something else that's going on that's pretty crazy. In Paris, France, the formerly beautiful city of Paris, a gunman carried out an attack on a Kurdish cultural center. He killed at least 3 people. He was thankfully captured and disarmed by some people in a nearby barber shop. Hey, so who was this gunman? I don't know off the top of my head. Let me see if I can find some information on that. Okay, let's see. Let's check trending on Twitter. Oh, yes, by the way, apparently it is Ava Gardner's birthday. She would have been 98 years old were she alive. Well, happy birthday, miss. All right, so still trying to find who exactly was this gunman in Paris. Now I'm seeing that there is large-scale rioting going on in Paris. Paris has turned to a war zone as police clash with Kurdish rioters. Restaurants are looted by the violent rioters. Dozens of cars are set on fire. I mean, are they rioting because of the gunman? I don't know. I mean, obviously, I would think they have a reason to be angry. Trying to find information on who this gunman was and why he did it. Was it a white man? Was it an Arab? I don't know. Okay, let's see. So apparently, this murderer attacked migrants with a sword last year. I'm still finding a surprising dearth of information here. I mean, it says it was a sword. Like, what kind of sword was it? Was it a scimitar or was it, Orlando's Durandal? I just don't know. Let's see. Well, I can't find who this gunman was. Some people say it might have been like an honor killing. I don't know. I mean, look, boy, it was sure good to bring all these ethnic tensions into your country. Okay, so I'm seeing some people saying it was a white man. I don't know off the top of my head. And now seeing some other conflicting information saying it's unclear. Maybe it was a Turk. Obviously, the Turks are not particularly fond of the Kurds, or is it a white man? I don't know. So, like I said, we don't know if the sword used was a scimitar or whether it was, a knightly hand and a half sword. More information will be coming. Okay, let's see. Okay, C Punk Messiah says recruiters are vultures. Yes, they do. I mean, yes, they are. Sorry. Stumbling over my words this morning. Yeah, so I slept a bit later than I normally would this morning. I went to sleep early and I woke up late. And I feel pretty refreshed, to be honest. I'm enjoying my winter break from school. The kids got to go do their Christmas crap, and so do I. Bislankovich says corporations are bypassing the sanctions and selling semiconductors to Russia. We gotta enforce those sanctions. Let's go. Yes, yes. Bislankovich says the RGs were riding as the open bus of soccer players passed by, jumping off the bridges, missing the bus, falling on their heads. Ha ha. I know. I've never understood why people riot when they win. Like, I don't know. Maybe I just don't have that sort of I don't know what you call it, that sort of untethered thumos about myself. But yeah, I don't get the idea of victory riding. I mean, if you lose, I can understand why you would ride. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with it, but you're upset and you want to smash it up. But it's yeah, we won. Whoa! Just light things on fire. Blip. I don't know. If I'm gonna celebrate something, I'm gonna chug down a few beers and dance about and chase the broads. I'm not gonna light things on fire. I don't know. Maybe this whole French situation is about France losing the World Cup. I mean, France's national team is basically the de facto African team. Kidding, kidding. It's, yes, yeah. So my regards to the good Kurdish people. I've always had a good respect for them. Let's hope that this Parisian thing gets solved pretty quick. Like I said, the gunman has been captured. The media is surprisingly mum about who he is. Now in America, of course, they if a gunman is white, they'll immediately post his name and picture out and scream into the heavens. Whereas if he's non-white, they just kind of keep mum on that for a while. I don't know what the situation's like in gay Paris. I don't profess to be an expert on the French media, so we'll see what's happening there. All right, so yeah, let's leave the folly of humans behind. Now let's look at some animal news because the animals have been kind of making asses of themselves too. Usually you can look at the animal kingdom to set a moral example for us humans, but not this week. Now we've all heard of elephants, but have you ever heard of incelephants? Yes, elephant incels. It's not just for humans anymore. Inceldom. The animals are doing it too. An angry wild elephant went on a rampage in a city in China, destroying cars and apartments and houses after he failed to find a girlfriend to mate with. And yeah, apparently there are wild elephants that apparently come into China on occasion. Asian elephants, Indian elephants. I wasn't entirely sure that they were in China, but now I have to look up the range of the Asian elephant. There's of course an endangered species. Okay, let's look. So here we have. Yeah, so historically they used to range all around China. For the most part, it has been kind of extirpated. But yeah, there are still little pockets going into Indochina and India. And I guess it's not inconceivable that a small population of wild elephants could come into China on occasion. So yeah, this elephant, he failed to find the mate. And like all incels, He took his sexless rage out on the world. Now, personally, you want to talk about license to print money, the incelephant. There's a horror movie and a half right there. See, this is what happens when men can't get women. They go absolutely insane. And rather than taking his anger out on the alpha bulls, he just took his anger out on some nice people. Now, this is, of course, in marked contrast to, say, chimps, who, or other great apes. What? Got some. Mitchell Valentino gives me $5. Okay. Yes. Merry Christmas to you too, sir. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever holidays you celebrate. Happy that. So yeah, like I was saying, I was giving you a brief primatology lecture. Chimps and orangutans, uh, when they are incels, they got up to some pretty skeevy things. Like beta chimps will sort of gang up on the alpha chimps, and they'll just tear them to pieces because to get women 50% of the time is better than getting them 0% of the time. And beta orangutans will not develop the throat phalanges and hirsuteness of the alpha orangutan, and they will be very sneaky, much like the male feminists. They'll kind of mingle amongst the female orangutans who they resemble, and then they'll proceed to rape them when they get the chance. Incels, not even once. Okay, we got some comments here. Okay, let's see. C-Punk Messiah answers the question of why people would riot when they win. Cultish devotion. Well, again, like, I don't understand. Like, I don't care how cultishly devoted you are. I will never understand the concept of, like, destroying and, like, overturning cars when you win. Okay, Boslankovich says that the guy in Paris was a white man. Ah, yes. So when he attacked Kurds with a sword in a refugee center a couple years ago, I regrettably must announce that it was, in fact, Orlando's Durandal he was attacking with. The age-old, uh, French tradition of attacking the Saracen. Also, yes, talking about far-right terrorism does call for me referencing the Song of Roland. Okay, Steampunk Messiah says celebrating with tits and beer is way better than rioting. Yes, that's exactly what I was getting at. I don't know, when I'm celebrating, I can't imagine like lighting things on fire. That's not how I celebrate. Well, except for 4th of July. But Stankovic says, wonder what the French club team locker room will be like with the Mbappe boys. Kylian, his 15-year-old brother, Messi, and Neymar Brazil. Oh boy. Yeah, see, that's why I've never really been super into like club sports. That's why I always find like the Olympics or the World Cup, much more interesting because it's nation to nation. It's not all these kind of loyalties shifting around with clubs and just paying, essentially buying people. I don't know. I always found like international competition to be much more interesting. Okay, Bislankovich says Trump is selling NFTs of him riding on elephants. Yes, I talked about that last week about Trump's stupid, NFTs, which he has apparently made quite a lot of money on so far. The stupid people will buy anything, I suppose. Again, I don't understand how NFTs are basically any different from Pogs. I said Pogs you could always play games with. Yeah, so yeah, the incelephant. Not a good situation. And speaking of animals failing hard this week, 21 people, 18 of whom were elementary school children, were mauled by 2 pit bulls. I mean, I gotta say, that's almost impressive that, like, they could do 10 each. So let's see. Where was this happening? It was in Missouri, which a state that always lives up to its name, Missouri. Yeah. So a dog attack on a school playground has left 21 people injured in Springfield, Missouri. And speaking of Springfields, a city in I don't know, somewhere down south called Shelbyville just totally ate shit today, or actually yesterday. But we'll get to that little. Actually, we can do that after this story. Yeah. So on Tuesday, December 20th, staff and students at the Willards Intermediate South School, so I guess a middle school, when two pit bulls made their way into the playground. Okay, so there's an incident during recess in which two dogs onto the playground injured several students and teachers. Parents of the students were affected, and ambulances were on site to assess and treat injuries. 18 were students and 3 were teachers. Okay, basically there were 6 people who actually required medical attention, like bites and scratches. Okay, yeah, so the dogs were put down. So thankfully nobody was seriously injured, and school resumed the next day. And wouldn't you know it, at the end of this story, there are several more stories about pit bulls, including brothers hailed as heroes for saving a 3-year-old girl from a pit bull attack. So yeah, keep on winning, pit bulls. You know, I've I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I don't hate pit bulls. I mean, it is a breed that was literally made to be a fighting dog, and I can't really blame the dog for being raised to be what it is. But yeah, I don't think the average Joe should really be owning a pit bull, to be quite honest. It doesn't help the fact that every pit bull owner I've ever seen is some basically recovering drug addict, shit heel who basically just wants to have like a badass dog to compensate for their tiny, shrunken penises. I know. I don't see why you can't just breed out the aggression in pit bulls. I mean, they did it with bulldogs. Okay, let's check the comments over here. Punk Messiah says, "Where's the Borzoi when you need them?" I don't know. I can't really. I don't know. Missouri kind of sucks, so I can't imagine how many people have like Russian wolf dogs. Punk Messiah says you got to add some other breed to the pit bull to kind of even them out. Yeah, I mean, dog breeding tends to kind of have some bad effects. It tends to kind of heighten certain traits that are not necessarily good, like the hyper-aggression in pit bulls. I've literally seen videos where like a woman gets mugged, and her pit bull will just kind of spaz out and start attacking the woman instead of the mugger. I guess thugs got to have a solidarity with thugs. They're fist bumping. And then, of course, other selective breeding, like, I've talked about pugs and how they, like, literally have heart attacks after walking, like, 5 feet because a bunch of rich women kind of went in the opposite direction as pit bulls. A bunch of rich ladies want to have, like, sort of fat little mutant baby dogs. I mean, at least with pugs, I mean, I have noticed that, more and more pugs are kind of getting crossbred with other small dogs, like, little terriers and beagles and such to kind of fix their faces. Like one of the non-marriageable women I have kind of dangling on the line has a puggle, like a half pug, half beagle, and it's you know it's not a waddling mutant baby whose eyeballs pop out of its head, which is nice. And speaking of pit bulls, I mean, I've known people who have pit bulls, but the smart ones put them on a muzzle when they're out and about. it's fine to have a pit bull, but you got to understand that it is, it's a fighting dog, and unfortunately, due to massive amounts of inbreeding with the breed, a lot of them are these kind of low IQ spastics who just spaz out and tear people to shreds at the slightest provocation. You got to put on a muzzle if you're gonna walk it. Don't. I'm sick of these people who are like, no, like Fluffy, just it wouldn't hurt anybody. Just gotta. It's your fault. I mean, it's your fault for having your child walking around my pit bull unattended. No, just be responsible. Put your 200-pound like gangsta dog on a leash and a muzzle, please. That's what I have to say. Okay. Yeah. So, in a story that's actually, yeah, let's talk about that Shelbyville thing. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm looking at a. This is just a minor kind of goofy thing, but since we're talking about Springfield, Missouri, I thought it would only be fitting to talk about Shelbyville as well. Uh, yeah, it was just this little thing on Twitter where it was like a weather forecast, and then for some reason Shelbyville was like negative 1,000 degrees. I guess it was just a an oversight from the meteorologists. Anyway, that's what Shelbyville gets for stealing the lemon tree from Springfield, in my opinion. So yes, I know I usually talk about like the goofy crap near the end, but like I said, Springfield, it kind of needed to be talked about. But yes, also tangentially related to the Pitbull story, a wait, sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing. Wait, that's the wrong link. But yes, while I look for it, tangentially related to the Pitbull story, a uh, Wired.com article asks, really, what's wrong with eating people? So basically, human cannibalism has been known to transmit debilitating diseases like Kuru and other prion diseases. But what if it was lab grown human meat? I mean, really, morally speaking, what's wrong with eating people? Is the world ready for synthesized cannibalism? Asks Richard Wordsworth of Wired. What if you could tuck it to a juicy human burger that was guaranteed cruelty free? Hey, we could grow lab meat. I know they've been talking about this with like cow flesh and stuff. Basically growing like giant meat tumors in a lab, which I can't say I'm particularly into. I mean, the thought of that really upsets me. But let's make it even better. Let's just eat lab grown human flesh. Okay, in 2013, Dutch scientists proved you can make animal meat in a lab from cell cultures into beefed burgers. I don't know, just there's some. I have a gut reaction to eating like giant tumor burgers that are grown in a lab. Yeah, I understand why they do this. I mean, obviously nobody wants to hurt the poor innocent cows, but in general, when I just have like a gut reaction to the idea of growing and eating like tumor burgers, and I feel like that's gonna have some problems. I feel like the body might react violently to that. All I'm saying is don't be surprised if tumor burgers, in fact, cause massive amounts of cancer in people. And the idea is that if we grow human meat in laboratory cultures, you have much less of a chance of getting diseases. Yeah, to be honest, I'll pass. I would honestly prefer eating the bugs before I eat the human flesh. Okay, C Punk Messiah says, imagine a future where there's no pure breed dogs, just a bunch of unique dogs. Yeah, I mean, in general, if I were to own a dog, which I don't, but if I were, I would probably go for a mixed breed rather than a pure breed, because pure breed dogs have many, many problems. C Punk Messiah says the world is not ready for synthetic long pig. Well, I'm certainly not. That's for damn sure. Not to be outdone in human insanity, I've talked about this every now and then, and speaking of metastasizing tumors, the pride flag just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, it really is just a fractal fuck spiral, like I described it weeks ago. There's even more, discordant, you know, visually garish crap on that flag. There's now a red umbrella on it, the global symbol of sex workers. It's just this big red umbrella just plop right in the middle of the flag. The new and improved pride flag, which has like the chevrons of trans on it and the yellow thing and the just yeah, this really is the worst flag I've ever seen. And it's really just reaffirming my notion that the only members of the LGBT community who are creative and are artistic are in fact the gay men. Because no self-respecting gay man would have designed this piece of crap flag. That's for damn sure. And should I also point out that the umbrella that they put in the middle of this flag literally looks like the Umbrella Corporation's logo from the Resident Evil franchise? I mean, it doesn't have the white stripes; it's all red. But if it did have white stripes, it would be exactly like the the Umbrella Corporation's flag. I'm sorry, were there no like artsy fartsy gay people around to say, "Hey, this flag looks like garbage"? I mean, say what you will about like the the whole LGBT thing, but like the original flag, the rainbow flag, it is a good flag. It's well designed. It's not a garish load of crap that's just splattered onto a fabric swatch. And hey, if you are so inclined, you could pretend it's an Incan military flag since their symbol was the rainbow. But yeah, this woof. I mean, I took exactly one visual design course in college just because I needed an elective. But yeah, this is not good. Okay. All right. C Punk Messiah says, I meant to say not ready when he said the world. I don't think the world is ready for synthetic long pig. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I know there's enough people who will just shovel any garbage into their mouth. I mean, I won't. I mean, I will certainly not be eating, human meat burgers. I will prefer to go to In-N-Out Burger, Biff. Seapunk Messiah, referring to the new and improved LGBT flag, says the worst part is the brown. Yeah, you can say that again. Hi-yo. It's like adding chocolate to Skittles. Uh, Danny Summers asks, is it wrong to lift on Christmas? Why would it be wrong to lift on Christmas? I mean, my gym's closed for the weekend. I went on Thursday. But no, there's nothing wrong with lifting on Christmas. I mean, hey, it justifies eating all the cookies you can, right? But yes, I will not be enjoying the human flesh burgers. Right? All right, so yeah, what else is going on? Yeah, I mean today's probably gonna be a little bit of a short show. I mean, I have a few more topics to talk about, but of course it is the holiday season. We all have things to be doing. I mean, we have more on human inanity to talk about. Because human flesh burgers weren't bad enough. Let's talk about the inanity of racial politics in these days. First of all, a McKinsey consultancy thing wrote about, and I quote, the unbearable whiteness of running. First of all, I was under the impression that McKinsey was like a financial consultancy. Now they're doing these like kind of race crap articles. I wasn't aware of that. Yeah, so anyway, let's read this crap, okay? Activist Allison Desir dismantles the whiteness of long distance running and the dangers of taking up space as a black person in America. There's nothing micro about these aggressions. Yes, yes, the whiteness of long distance running. Let me repeat that nice and slow. The whiteness of long distance running. Oh, yeah, I mean, whoever heard of black people doing well in long distance running? Like, what are you, high? Like, do you not watch the Olympics? Like, who who do you think wins long distance running? It's a bunch of Ethiopian guys. Like, hello. This might be the stupidest thing like anyone's ever said. Yeah, there's one thing people don't associate with black people, it's running. Derp. Okay, let's see. Say this woman, is obviously very much into writing about her blackness. Uh, so she wrote a book about I mean, the book's title was originally supposed to be The Unbearable Whiteness of Running, but now it's called Running While Black, Finding Freedom in a Sport That Wasn't Built for Us. Again, the idea that, like, black people are not represented in long distance running might be the most idiotic thing I've ever heard anybody say. I've heard a lot of stupid crap in my life, believe me. Anyway, yeah, I think it could go without saying that I will not be reading this book. Eh. Danny Summers says, "Is there anything good on the Steam sale?" I have no idea, and to be quite honest, the idea that I would pay for entertainment is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, not that I pirate my games, of course. I get all of them legally. I trade them with my friends. Sorry, rapping black computer man. I do copy that floppy. Hey, C Punk Messiah says, I think people are just making stuff up to complain about. Yeah, no, I have an idea that they're doing that too. I mean, you're never going to solve, like, the race problem in this country because a lot of people would lose money if they did. But again, like, how oblivious to your surrounding, universe do you have to be to think that black people aren't represented in long distance running? Like, my God, that is so unbelievably stupid. Give me 1 second. I'm going to drink some water. Okay. And not to be outdone in the complaining about racial inanities sector of the economy, the San Francisco Transit Board says we refuse to release crime surveillance videos on the BART trains because they would make people racist. Now, I'm curious as to why those videos would make people racist. I mean, who knows? Who knows? This probably also ties into the fact that the San Francisco chief of police, William Scott, announced earlier this year that they will no longer be releasing mugshots because it suggests they create an illusory correlation associating black and brown men with criminal behavior. You see, what happens is most of the mugshots of the arrestees do happen to be black and brown men. This creates the illusion that black and brown men are, in fact, involved in criminal behavior sometimes. You know, I did my graduate school in San Francisco. It's a beautiful city, but I don't think I'll be going back anytime soon. I mean, it would be such a beautiful city, still if it wasn't run by very, very stupid people. I don't know, personally, I think the BART is a very nice public transit setup, but I guess it isn't anymore. I was barning all over the place when I was there. Okay, let's check the comments. Okay, Punk Messiah talking about the race thing. There's not enough to complain about, and more pressing matters, might I add. Yes, I agree. It's to keep us divided as a people. Yes, I also agree. Yep, we are being conquered. We sure are. And, I guess subconsciously, that's also why I started opening up with that Who song. I mean, it's really amazing to see a group of people in the world that aren't, totally ashamed of their culture and their heritage, in the way that every single Western country is made to be ashamed of themselves. I mean, there's something I find very amusing about the fact that, like here in this country, we're ashamed of our, conquerors and our like heritage and our, history. Meanwhile, in Mongolia, half the things are named after Genghis Khan. But, who knows why they're not ashamed of their history. All right, let's move on. And finally, in the inane crap section of the news, the New York Post says a man with a World War I exploding shell in his rectum evacuates the hospital. Yes, a man, for some strange reason, had a high X shell in his ass, and they had to evacuate the whole hospital for fear of it exploding. That undischarged ordnance from World War One. I mean, I don't know how he got that in his ass. I'm sure it was a complete mystery. But man, they find those World War One bombs in just the strangest of places. I mean, I assume he was just you know, gadding about the streets one day, and you know, he just tripped and fell, and his pants fell down. He just accidentally impaled himself on that shell. It's a complete mystery, I'm sure. All right, so that with that, the that's all my prepared remarks. Like I said, a little bit shorter than average. Sleep Messiah says prostate stimulation is a hell of a drug. I mean, I wouldn't know, but what you're into is not. It's not my business. But maybe don't like take World War One ordnance and kind of put it in your the no go zone. Maybe. And that's just me. Yeah. So that's my prepared remarks. If anybody has something to say, you can say it now. All right. Doesn't seem like anybody has anything to say. So, for this slightly shorter than usual stream. I'm Larsen Halleck. Happy holidays, whatever holidays you celebrate. Happy holidays to all. And I bid you all a good day.